Yes, good evening to everybody. Welcome to the today class. That yesterday that I dealt the nuisance part one, I completed part two, and today part three that I would like to complete the nuisance. And the next chapter would be the defamation. Yes, unmute and read what I posted on the screen so that I could know that you are with me and I am with you. Hurry up.
Good evening, Namaskar. Commit no nuisance. Professor Mohammed Saheb Hussain.
Yes, what is this?
Mixed nuisance affects both private and public use, both public and private nuisance. In this case, the landowner of the adversely affected land files a private nuisance lawsuit and the government files a public nuisance lawsuit.
Yes, that is called the private mixed nuisance. Yeah. Without wasting the time, that I would like to go to our class because yesterday that I dealt up to here, here I put the asterisk mark. Yes. And this case also we dealt it Dattamal Chiranji Law versus Lord Prasad, that the AR 1960 Allahabad 632. The defendant established the electrical floor mill adjacent to the plaintiff house in Bazaar locality, and running of the mill produced such a noise and vibrations, and the plaintiff and his family did not get the peace and freedom from noise to follow their normal avocations during the day. They did not have the quiet rest at night also. So in the residential locality, there should not be any mill. If it is a mill is there, you should not produce a lot of sound also. And moreover, the mill will not run in the night. Do you think that in the residential locality where you want to go for the floor, does it run in the night? Say yes or
No,
no.
sir.
Okay, it was held that the running of the mill amounted to the private nuisance, which should not be permitted over there, evil causes. And we already read this very classical case last Judges versus Bridgman, where it is very much made it very much clear that the nuisance, when a person feel from that date, it will be counted. Law of prescription of the confectioners will not be applicable over there. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
We have dealt, have shown the motor, pestils,
Yes,
sounds,
sir.
20 years, law of prescription, confession say we are the 20 years running over there. Hence, at the time that you did not say the nuisance, but now you are saying the nuisance because at the time he did not construct the consulting room. Now he consulted the consulting room and the fumes and smart noises which is disturbing their patient as well as to the doctor also. So from today onward that I am feeling the nuisance. So that was the thing. The defendant is not liable in respect of organ abnormal sensitivity. Suppose let us see. Suppose if a person is abnormal sensitivity, okay, nuisance cannot be applicable to him. Robinson versus Kilward, this is one of the case law. D was in the ground floor and was manufacturing paper boxes just about D's room. P had stored the sensitive paper due to the heat used by the D to make the boxes. The paper got spoiled, and P sued the D. Held P's paper was abnormally sensitive in the circumstances, hence D was not liable. Suppose the paper you keep it in the upstairs, and if the heat would be there in the downstairs, because of heat, the paper color will be changed. Are you following me?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Because that is a very sensitive area, you are not supposed to keep it because a temperature could be maintained over there. Otherwise, paper color would be faded. So sensitive things would not be supposed to be put it over there. So health versus Brighton case law, D's power station was making a buzzing noise. The church complained that it affected the sermon. So you know the 23 kV power station? Say yes or no.
Yes, sir. It
So
will
what
supply
is the
to
sound
all
will
homes.
come?
Buzzing sound, sir. Buzzing.
That is the buzzing sound will come from the TV station. That is sorry, the transmission. That is the power station. The church complained that it affected the sermon. No, because it is for the public good. Okay, some sensitiveness will not be there for that man, and hence one should have to make it out. So I held that as the noise never affected the attendance of someone's, there was no nuisance. Suppose you are deeply immersed in your prayer sermon, and the outer noise you could not hear it. That means you are not fully involved in your sermon. Is it? Is it?
No, sir.
If you are fully involved in your sermon, The external sound you could not hear it. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
That is
Yes,
the
sir.
same thing which I am saying. So now I would like to ask you one thing. Electrical poles are different from high tension wires carrying poles. What are the high tension wire carrying the? This is not the high tension. It is a metal, iron, round pillar, electrical pillar, and carrying the electricity. So we can say it is a pillar. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Electrical pillar. For this also is a wooden pillar. It is a wooden log,
Wooden pillar.
wooden pillar. Then what about this is?
This is flag hosting pillar, sir.
Yeah, it is a tag. It is a flag pole. It is made of
Yes,
steel.
sir. Flagpole.
Okay,
Steel.
what about this one?
High tension wire,
High
sir.
tension wire carrying from one place to another place. Can you say electrical pole?
No, sir.
What do you say?
Don't know, sir.
Pylon. 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 Say spelling.
PYLON.
Pylon. You will say this one. What about this one?
Just like easy. These are LED lamps, sir.
It is
Street light
traffic.
lamps.
It is a traffic round pillar poles. What about this one? This is
Various
also
types of poles.
poles.
Yes, sir. Various types.
Traffic light poles. Traffic light poles. What about this one? Fencing poles. What about this
Yes, sir.
one?
Dance. Pole dance.
Dancing pole. You know the English movies. There is a pole around it, she will dance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how many poles that I have given you today? If you miss my class, you miss many things. So here buzzing sound will not be a mount. Wagon mount case law 1, wagon mount case law 2. There are very famous case law. This case law says about the direct test and indirect test. Reasonable forcibility test. We can make it in the wagon mount one, case 1. Oil stored in the wagon mount vessel. The name of the vessel is wagon mount. Escaped and spread over the 100 feet away where the another ship had been embarked. Welding operations are going on the ship P, and which is 600 feet away from the wagon mount where it is dumping, not dumping, it is what I say, it is either taking or unloading the benzene actually. The people there took a care to test the care test oil, but continued welding work. The fire broke out. The ship was damaged, held not liable because one cannot foresee it. For 600 feet, the oil is carried away and it got the fire. So wagon mount, reasonable forcibility would not be there. So it is not a multi-nuisance. Of course, we will read it in the remote possibility. Wagon mount 1 and wagon mount 2, please read it. In 1, it is not liable. In the 2, it is liable. Now let us see the mixed nuisance. In the mixed nuisance, what happened is the private nuisance as well as the public nuisance. Read. Unmute and read the mixed nuisance.
Some nuisances can be both public and private in certain circumstances where the public nuisance substantially interferes with the use of an individual's adjoining land. For example, pollution of a river might constitute both a public and a private nuisance. This is known as a mixed nuisance.
Suppose if your tanning industries are there, it is a what I say emanates, it produces a toxic substance. The effluents comes out of the tanning industry, it pollute the river. At that instance, people those who are drinking the water of the river, individuals will be affected, and the flora and fauna, including the river where marine animals are there, marine things are there in, like fish, crabs, tarts, and shrimps, anything that also be affected at large, and hence it is a public nuisance. So individual also get affected, and the public also got affected. So it is a both private and
Public nuisance.
hence we can call it
Mixed nuisance.
mixed nuisance. That is. Now let us see the attractive, virgule, alluring nuisance. And we have seen the case law of attractive nuisance. I told you that case law is belladonna. People, the student, the boy plucked the thinking that is a cherries and eat and died. Omission of a duty. What is the name of the case law?
Awesome, sir.
Glasgow Corporation versus Taylor. See, this Glasgow Corporation versus Taylor, where a child of tender year was attracted by the belladonna berries grown in a public garden, which were a danger to young children, unable to take themselves within the knowledge of those who put such plants in a public place without a barricade, without a caution board. So belladonna, which looks like a cherries, so the boy attracted by thinking that it is the cherries. So it is called attractive nuisance or alluring nuisance, because children are allured by the cherries, but they are not actually cherries. What they are? Belladonna berries, which are poisonous in nature. So I told you several times, the Glasgow Corporation versus Taylor, it will come across in the omission. It will come across again in the attractive nuisance or alluring nuisance. And it also comes under the municipality, which is run by the government sector. Hence, a municipality would be held liable. Is it clear? Say
Yes, sir.
Now another case law here, Cook versus Midland Great Western Railway of Ireland, that is the 1909 AC Appellant Court, 229 page. That was the case of a turntable which formed a great attraction to children living in the neighborhood to play with. But it was a dangerous object when he unlocked because it used without a care. It was liable to crush the user as it did the boy Cook. What is the turntable? Anyone? Do you know what is turntable?
Which rotates. Which
Yes.
rotates.
What is? ఇంతకుముందు స్టీమ్ ఇంజన్లు ఉండేవి తెలుసా అండి? తెలుసా తెలియవా? మరి స్టీమ్ ఇంజన్ ని మరి ఇటు నుండి అటు తిప్పడానికి ఏం చేయాలి దాన్ని? ఇగో చూసిండ్రా టర్న్ టేబుల్? Did you see turntable?
Yes, sir.
To face the
Yes,
face
sir.
of it, because there is no reverse gear to make the engine to face on one side, it goes to the turntable and the railway department will move it and will make it to the front to back to the front. Am I right? Say yes.
Yes, sir.
So the children are using the turntable for the amusement. Turntable is attractive to the children. Turntable is alluring to the children, and children playing over there. And turntable is not locked. It is the negligence of the railway company to pay the compensation to the people, students, or boys who got injured. Did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
Turntable also attractive to the boys, to the children, to the minors. So hence they should be negligent. So another case law, Phipps versus Rochester Corporation. This case law I told you already. He made the excavation, the shortcut they are using. One sister and brother, they are running. They made the long jump. Because sister is tall, having a long legs, she made a long jump very nicely. And the brother is a Lilliput, a short or dwarfed or ageless, having the short leg. He could not jump like the sister, so he fell down in the. Trench. So he got injured. And whether trench is attractive, trench is alluring to the student, to the boys?
Yes, sir.
No. A
No.
trench is not the attraction to the boys. బొంద ఎక్కడ అట్రాక్షన్ అండి, కింద పడతాం కదా అండి, లోపల పడతాం కదా, వీళ్ళు ఫెల్ డౌన్ నో బొంద.
No, sir.
మరి
It is
అట్రాక్షన్
not
ఎందుకు
attractive.
అవుతుందండి అది? మీరు సురుసురు వత్తిలు కాలవండి అట్రాక్షన్ అది. స్క్విబ్,
Yes, sir.
కాకర పుల్లలు, విష్ణు చక్రం,
Yes, sir.
భూచక్రం. ఎస్, ఇట్ ఇస్ అన్ అట్రాక్షన్ టు నాట్ ఓన్లీ ద బాయ్స్, ఈవెన్ ఫర్ ద
They're colorful.
anyone also. So the people will come and watch it. If you made any nuisance over there,
Elder.
instead of racket going directly vertical, it go in tangent way, and it is hurt, and a person becoming a boy becoming a partially blind, it is you would be held liable to pay, because attractive nuisance you created over there, and the people will come. When your people come, you have to take a lot of care. When the rackets, when you are burning, keep the straight vertical line where the street go to the vertical up the air. But instead of going the up, it went to the diagonal, means 45 degrees diagonal. If it went to the diagonal, means injured somebody else. So even that case law or illustration also we can say in the attractive nuisance. Then in another case law also there attractive nuisance. Hug versus Lord Advocate. It is also, there is a duty on the parts of it. Because there is a manhole. How many holes that I taught you? How many holes I taught you? మీ దండం పెడతా, వస్తే చెప్పండి, లేకపోతే పాస్ అని చెప్పండి.
స్క్వేర్ హోల్, సర్కులర్ హోల్, కర్వ్డ్ హోల్.
But the actual thing that you are not saying, peep hole, weep hole, sanitary hole. Okay, this is a manhole. So there's a manhole, the PNT department
Yes,
is
sir.
working over there, but they left it unattended in the evening, but they kept the paraffin lamp around it. They put a red wrapper which shows the
నెగ్లిజ్
రెడ్ ర్యాపర్
Negligence.
లాంటర్న్ కి ఎందుకు పెడతారండి? టు షో. అయ్యా,
Caution, sir. Caution.
మీకు తెలియకపోతే పాస్ అని
Making
చెప్పేసి వేస్ట్ చేయకండి, టైం వేస్ట్ చేయకండి. అది రెడ్ లైట్ ఎందుకు చూపెడతారండి?
Pass on, sir.
రెడ్ లైట్, వై డు యూ కీప్ ద రెడ్
Danger
లైట్?
unna.
మరి అదే కదా నేను చెప్పేది.
Danger.
A lantern covered with the red wrapper would show it is a danger, but it is the attractiveness to the students and the boys. Something ఏది మాయా బజార్లో ఉంటుంది చూడండి, రెడ్ లైట్లు, బ్లూ లైట్లు, బజార్ ఉంటుంది కదా, ఏది ఎగ్జిబిషన్లో, ఇది అట్రాక్షన్ టు
Yes,
them.
sir. Magic
So
laga.
the boy came and he jumped over there from one, then the paraffin lamp fell down in the manhole. It caused the explosion. The boy also felt burns, and they say it is an attractive nuisance you created. How you left the manhole keeping a red light, which is the attraction to the minors, and he jumped over there and fell down in the manhole unattended. So negligence on the part of it, and hence he would be held liable. So that is also Hux versus Lord Advocate. So it is a attractive nuisance or alluring nuisance. Okay. So there is
Yes, sir.
another water. It is attracted a pool of water. A pool of water is attractive to the students or not?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So the another case la United Zinc and the chemical company versus Brit. In this case, children were trespassing upon the defendant's land, and after they were on the land, were attracted to a pool of water apparently pure, but actually poisoned by the chemicals. That water is not the pure water. It is poisoned by the chemicals. They pull it to it. they want to flush it later part. But these people, these boys thought that it's a pure water. They jumped in it for the swimming and they got died because of the poison chemicals. They are surrounded by it, and hence it also attractive nuisance. Okay? Because the children
Yes, sir.
attempted to
Yes,
swim
sir.
in the pool and were killed by the effect of the poison, while it would seem the recovery should have been available on the theory that the pool was a trap. Another exception to the rule is non-liability with the landowner to trespasser. The plaintiff based his case on the attractive nuisance doctrine. విన్నారా అండి? ఇక్కడ ఏం పెట్టిన చూసినరా? Did you observe? Did you observe?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Attractive nuisance doctrine.
Professor Hussain students only could know what is attractive nuisance or alluring nuisance. So సరిపోయింది attractive nuisance 3 కేసుల. Anticipatory nuisance నేను చెప్పాను ఆల్రెడీ. A roof water people will keep in old movies or in old houses, a crane face or a lion face or a elephant face. The roof water will pass through it to either in his own land. If it is projected to the another's land, then it will be falling the another's land. Even it rains. దాన్ని ఏమంటారండి? నమూనాను నేను చెప్పాను ఒకసారి మీకు. ఏం చెప్పానండి? గార్గోయల్ అన్నాను. ఏమన్నాను? గార్గోయల్ చూపెట్టాను కూడా మీకు. ఏం చూపెట్టాను? ఇమేజెస్ చూపెట్టాను. రీడ్ ద కేస్లా. ఫేవర్స్ స్ప్లింటర్స్. రీడ్.
In Fay versus Prentice, a gargoyle of the defendant's house projected over the plaintiff's garden. It was held that the mere fact that cornice projected over the plaintiff's garden raises a presumption of fall of rainwater into and damage to the garden, and the same need not be proved. It was anticipatory virtue prospective nuisance.
When you keep a gargoyle face towards somebody's land, when it rains, definitely water flows through the gargoyle, falls on the land of
Other property. Other persons.
adjacent man. So presumption that when it rains, the water damage the garden of the adjacent land person, and the same need not to be proved, because when it falls down enough, it is a trespass and hence actionable per se. But indirectly, but there is a cause, some nuisance over there, and it was a anticipatory or prospective nuisance. Is it clear? Anticipatory bail తెలుసా అండి?
ముందస్తు బెల్ సార్, ముందస్తు బెల్.
In advance, people will think that they are going to be arrested and they go to the court and get the anticipatory bail. దాన్ని ఇది న్యూసెన్స్ ని కూడా యాంటిసిపేటరీ ఆర్ ప్రాస్పెక్టివ్ న్యూసెన్స్ అంటారు. Fay versus Prentice is the only one case law we do have it where we can say it is a prospective or anticipatory nuisance. Continuous nuisance చూద్దాం ఇప్పుడు. Dilware Limited versus Westminster City Council. The respondent was the owner of the tree growing in the footpath of a highway. The respondent was the owner of the tree growing in the footpath of a highway. The roots of the tree caused the cracks in the neighboring building. The transfer of the buildings after the cracks were detected was held entitled to recover the reasonable remedial expenditure in respect of the entire damage from the continuing nuisance caused by the trees. Sir, మా ఇంట్లో నేను ట్రీ పెట్టుకోవచ్చు, but the branches should not, the roots should not
go into other property.
Go అంటారా అండి? గో అంటారా? The branches should not go అంటావా? The branches should not protrude.
Yes,
on
sir.
the somebody's
Totally.
land, and the roots also should not enter into the somebody's land and cross the foundation of the wall, and the wall falls down. That means continuous nuisance that he has created. So the remedy is the other person can cut the branches which has produced over his land, and and the roots which are passed through his land, he can cut it. That is called abatement of nuisance. Spelling ABATEMENT space nuisance NUISANCE. Okay? Okay, statutory nuisance. Statutory nuisance will say that no one is going to get any compensation. Like I told you that statutory authority, railways, wagon versus tough railway company, you cannot get it. But in the Smith versus South London Western Railway Company, yes, it's the negligence in the part of the railway company to not to remove the grass which are plucked from the railway, within the railway, and make it put it aside, and the grass becomes a hay after 3 days. Then the live coal fell down over it, and it is carried over by the wind, and the burn the plaintiff land, hay, or the property. There, the defense cannot be taken by the railway, that is statutory defense, but it is a purely negligence
Awesome,
of
sir.
the railway department not to remove the grass. ఎన్నోసార్లు చెప్పి 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 రిపీట్ చేశాను, బట్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ ఇన్ ఏ పొజిషన్ టు మేక్ ఇట్ అవుట్. సో స్టాట్యుటరీ నెగ్లిజెన్స్, స్టాట్యుటరీ న్యూసెన్స్లో నాయిస్, వైబ్రేషన్, స్మోక్స్, ఫ్యూమ్స్, gases, dust, rubbish, fly tipping, steam, odor, kept animals, waste deposit, poor state of premises, foul, stagnant, obstruct, because they made it very much clear in the statutory, and hence it is a statutory negligence. చెత్త ఎక్కడంటే అక్కడ పడేయచ్చా అండి సార్? మన ఇండియాలో ఎక్కడంటే అక్కడ వేయచ్చు సార్ మనం. ఓకే, బయట మీరు నీళ్ళు తాగి కార్ నుండి బయట వేసింది అనుకోండి, ఏది ఎంటీ బాటిల్ అవుట్, చలన పడుతుంది ముందుగాల పట్టెత్తాడు అక్కడ వాడు
Yes.
సీసీ కెమెరాలో చూసి. యూ కెనాట్ త్రో వెర్ ఎవర్ యూ లైక్, దెర్ ఆర్ డస్ట్బిన్స్ ఆర్ దేర్, అండ్ యూ హెవ్ టు త్రో ఇన్ ద డస్ట్బిన్స్ రబిష్. ఫ్లై టిప్పింగ్ అంటే ఎక్కడ పడితే అక్కడ పడేసుడు, ఏది రోడ్ పక్కకు, దాన్ని ఫ్లై టిప్పింగ్ అంటారు. ఫ్లై టిప్పింగ్ మీన్స్ ఇల్లీగల్లీ లీవింగ్ థింగ్స్ దే దట్ యూ డోంట్ వాంట్ నెక్స్ట్ టు ద రోడ్, ఇన్ ఫీల్డ్స్ ఆర్ ఇన్ రివర్స్. రివర్స్లో కూడా పడేస్తారు. ఇప్పుడు బీచ్లలో బీర్ తాగి ఏం చేస్తారండి బీర్ బాటిల్ని?
బీచ్ లో వాడేస్తారు సార్, వాటర్ లో.
అది ఫ్లో అవుతుందా లేదా అని విసిరేస్తారు. ఎందులో? సముద్రంలో. ఆర్ యు ఫాలోయింగ్ మీ? దోస్ హూ గోస్ టు ద గోవా. సార్ డిఫెన్స్ అవైలబుల్. ప్రిస్క్రిప్షన్ ఇందాకనే చెప్పాను. Sturgis versus Bridgman confectionery is having the 20 years, and he took the defense of the law of prescription, but the law of prescription is not available to him because at the time it is not a nuisance to him. But when he opened the consultation room, from the day he felt the nuisance, so law of prescription will not be applied over there. So there are three essential to establish the personal right of the prescription. Number one, use or enjoyment of the property. The use or enjoyment of the property must be acquired by the individual by the law, and the use or enjoyment must be done openly and peacefully. That is the number one. Number two, identity of the things of regular property enjoyed. The individual should be aware of the identity of the things or property which he or she peacefully and publicly enjoying it. So continuously without any objection, if you could enjoy it. If one day also make an objection, it is not the continuous or consecutive enjoyment. The third is, you should not be unfavorable to the rights of the other individual. The use or enjoyment of the things or property should be such a nature that it should be affecting the rights of another individual. This cause the nuisance. Even knowing such a nuisance being caused, there must be have been no action taken against the person causing it for at least 20 years. If a man will kept it right for the 20 years without causing any protest, then automatically law of prescription will come, but it will not be applicable in the Sturgis versus Bridgman. Read the first one case law, this case law read.
In Elliotson versus Feithman, it was held that a perspective right to the exercise of a noisemic trade on a particular spot may be established by showing 20 years user by the defendant.
See, it was held that the prescriptive right to do the exercise of the noisome trade on a particular spot may be established by showing the 20 years used by the defendant. See, in the 20 years, he did not make an objection. Now he could not make an objection, provided he should not increase the noise decibels. That's all. Here, the Goldsmith versus Bridge Walls Improvement Commissioner, it was held that the no prescriptive right could be obtained to discharge the sewage. Sewage 20 years నుండి పంపిస్తాను కాబట్టి ఇప్పుడే పంపిస్తామని వచ్చాయండి. Stream passing through the plaintiff land and feeding a lake, therein perceptibly increasing the quantity. We cannot, for the continuous nuisance or illegal nuisance, you cannot make it out. And 20 years I am making it. No, 20 years we did not feel it. Now we are feeling it. So law of prescription will not be applicable over there. Mohini Mohan versus Kashinath Rai, it was held that no right to hold the kirtan upon the another's land can be acquired as an easement. Such a right may be acquired by custom. Suppose if anything would be there, if it is the custom acquired would be there, it will be over, it will be done, but not in otherwise. But the Sturgis versus Bridgman, there is no law of prescription would be applicable over there. The next is statutory authority. It's a good defense. What is the defense of statutory authority? Wagon versus Stuff Whale Railway Company, the defendant who had authority to, by statute to the locomotive engine on the railway, were held not liable for the fire caused by the escape of the sparks, and adjacent land is burned, but they are not going to get anything because it is a statutory defense. There are three kinds of the remedies available in case of the nuisance. These are all injunctions. Even injunctions can be given over there. One of the case law, let us see that the Broadbent versus Imperial Gas Company case law, an injunction was granted to prevent a gas company from manufacturing gas in such a close proximity to the premises of the plaintiff, a market gardener, and in such a manner as to injure his garden produced by the escape of the noxious matter. Yes, the injunction can be granted over there because adjacent land, garden will be suffered, and the noxious gas will be the health hazardous to the people, those who are residing surrounding the areas. You read the Radhesham case law. Read.
In Radhesham versus Gaud Prasad Sharma, it was held by the Allahabad High Court held a permanent injunction may be issued against the defendant if in a noisy locality there is substantial addition to the noise by introducing floor mill, materially affecting the physical comfort of the plaintiff.
Yes, if the physical comfort would be there, of the plaintiff would be there because of such a thing which is put it over there, and the noise is coming from there, then one can apply for the injunction. Palmer versus Loader, in this case, perpetual injunction was granted to restrain the defendant from interfering with the plaintiff's enjoyment of her flat by shouting, banging, laughing, ringing doorbells, otherwise behaving so to cause nuisance by the noise to her. So if any person causes such a thing, then the injunction would be granted against him. Then next is damages. Of course, the damages will be awarded, but that is another remedy available. And abatement of the nuisance means removing the nuisance. Suppose somebody's branch is protruded on your land, you do have every right to cut it, provided first you have to ask the owner to cut it. If he did not cut it, then you can cut it. Am I right? Removal of the nuisance, that is called abatement of the nuisance. Example I have given the same thing. Ashok and Bhushan are neighbors. Bhushan has a poisonous tree on his land which over time overgrows and reaches to the land of Ashok. Now Ashok has every right to cut the part of the tree which is affecting his enjoyment of his land with prior notice to the Bhushan. But if the Ashok goes to the Bhushan land without his permission, then chops off the entire tree which then falls on the land of the Bhushan, then Ashok shall be in the wrong here, and his action taken would be the reasonable. Whenever you enter the land, first you have to take the permission. First you have to ask the person to cut down the protruded branches or the roots. If it doesn't do so, okay, you can cut from standing on your own land. Of course, consent of the plaintiff is one of the defense here. A became a tenant of the defendant in a house below the house occupied with the B land. The gutter of the landlord's house was blocked when it rained or overflow the rainwater from the blocked gutter on the bottom of the sloping roof in possession of the landlord above the tenant's premises, damaged the stocks in the tenant premises. It was held that the B has a defense as a tenant impliedly consented to the risk of the rainwater overflowing into his premises. Suppose if they are a multi-story building would be there. If the leakage in the upper floor would be there, the upper floor it goes to the down floor to another floor to another floor. If anything damaged over there, they are not going to get it because it's a common benefit they are enjoying it. And they have given the consent for that one. Necessity. Okay, sometimes necessity is the mother of invention, but sometimes we cannot say necessity makes you to. If the necessity, can you steal the bread because you are too much hungry and you did not eat for the 4 days? Tell me.
No, sir.
Answer no. So if you work it or you can beg it, sir, I will wash the cups for half an hour, but give me the bread to eat. Act of God, Nichols versus Marsland, we discussed the artificial lakes I gave the way because time immemorial rain would be there, which is caused the artificial lakes to break it, and the plaintiff fields were inundated in the water and he filed a case, then the defense of the act of God is taken over there. Trifles, small, de minimis non-curate lacks, sir, inkbuddi, needi, quill, nadi, edi, feather, inkbuddi munchi, rasina ankondi, is theft, no doubt. Can you go to the court of law for the theft? Answer no, because the trifles, we cannot go to the court of law. So ineffectual defenses, nuisance due to the act of others. No, it is ineffectual defense. What చేసిండు కాబట్టి నేను చేసిన no. Creek example, they put the barrows in the creek. That fellow has taken the roundabout and he incurred very much expenditure. So a public nuisance became a private nuisance, and the creek case law that we can cite over here. And public good, the public good, no ineffectual defense should be there. Suppose there is one beautiful case law is there. A fisherwoman is frying the fish in the residential locality and selling it at the cheap rate. But she is doing the public services. But when you are frying the fish, it emanates a pungent smell, which is obnoxious to other people, those who could not enjoy the fish. So even though she's done a public good, but it's a nuisance creating, because you are not supposed to fry the fish in the residential locality unless until you take the permission of the people, those who are studying over there. So plaintiff coming to the nuisance. Indaga Japan chudandi edi Sturgis versus Bridgman also law of prescription will not be available. Suppose if you are burning the fireworks, you have to take the reasonable care to burn it because people are attracted with the fireworks and everybody will watch the fireworks, how it is going on there. So instead of saying rocket, you fire it vertically, but it went in the tangent way and somebody's eyes was damaged, then you will be held liable. And it is the attractive nuisance, and the plaintiff coming to the nuisance, the defense, we should not take it. And the consent, voluntary not fit injury also, you are not supposed to take it. The nuisance and trespass distinguished, we already dealt it. What is the nuisance and what is the trespass? We dealt it. And here I have given in the physical form, tabular form. If you want, you can take the screenshot or you can see, even you can read also because it is there. You can make it a pause, then you can read the distinction between the two. And some more distinction between the trespass and nuisance also, I made it very clear here and we already discussed earlier. And it is the repetition, nothing but the repetition here. And this is the thing which I want to share with you. So, and the case law is again, you can say Usha Ben versus case law. Usha and Ben Navin Chand Trivedi. But you could not remember the Usha and Ben Navin Chand Trivedi. You can remember Usha Ben versus Bhagyalakshmi Chitra Mandir Mandal case law. Yes. Can anybody will tell me what is the case law? And several times we discussed this case law.
It was a movie where the goddess were shown jealousy of each other, so the complaint filed saying that they are not jealous in real life.
So,
jealousy, sir.
It is
The
not
judge
a
said
nuisance
they are fictional
created.
characters.
If you don't want to see the movie, you don't see and don't go. Don't ask for the injunction not to play the movie.
Yes, sir, it's fictional characters.
The nuisance and negligence. Nuisance, negligence difference ఉన్నదండి. Negligence లో దాంట్లో intentional కూడా కనబడుతుంది. Sometimes intention, sometimes no intention. But you are negligent because you did not use your brain proper way. Can you cross the road wherever you like? Tell me.
No, sir.
Answer no. But
No.
whereas the minor is concerned, you should be very much careful. Ravi
Yes, sir.
Kiran, you are speaking.
Yes, sir.
So nuisance and negligence, there is a slight difference would be there, and which I made it. In one of the case law here, Boomer versus Atlantic Cement case law, the plaintiff represented a group of landowners who sued because of the dirt, smoke, and vibration from the defendant cement plant interfered with the use of their property. The court that the damages to the property did constitute a nuisance held the plant owner is liable. Definitely. If you are go on, if you are go on taking the injunction from the court and removing all the cement factories, what about the employment? What about the employment of the people? How many people will be suffered? So many people work under the cement factory. Only few will be affected over there. Those who are very close to it. Polluter pays. Let them go to the court and get the money from the owner of the plant and get the cure. For the only few people can you completely close the plant? Answer no. Answer no.
No.
Of course. The first thing is why you have constructed your house very near to the plant. Because in the plant, they have given the permission for the long places. But you are not supposed to construct there the house. Okay, if you want, you can make the agriculture over there. But in agriculture land, you sold it and you construct your own house, and you are saying now that a nuisance is created to me because the dust is there and so there. Of course, they will take all the measures. The chimney, you know the chimney height of the cement plant, so much height, so that near locality will not be affected over there. So they will take all the measures
Yes, sir.
to see that the smut will not come out. They will also take the measure to neutralize the toxic substance and deneutralize it, and effluents will be passed to the near tanks, not the river, fresh river waters. So these are all the things, recycling, they do it. But merely for your sake, you cannot close a big plant where the many people are working and they will suffer. So here what they said is, nuisance is a complex area of tort law. What they say, there is no injunction here given in this case law. The court reasoned that the plant employed the 300 people and they calculated the worth of the plant to be over 45 millions. By contrast, it determined that the plaintiff suffered approximately $185 only damages. So forcing the plant to cease the activity would be economically disastrous. It's not economically viable. Therefore, instead of an injunction, the court allowed the plant to continue to operate, but ordered the plant owner to make the permanent ongoing damage payment to the plaintiff. Yes, they pay the permanent damage to the plaintiff who really suffered. And if the bronchitis is there, yes, the total amount of the bronchitis treatment they will be given over there. So nuisance is a complex area of the tort law involving the question of law, society, and economics. It potentially covers the conduct which has significantly detrimental impact on the use of the property. So the range of the nuisance ceases to be very broad. Court have taken the different approaches to the question of nuisance. So the legal analysis will vary depending upon which the jurisdiction the case brought. Suppose if you go to the Bhupalapalli, day and night there is a blasting is there. Day and night. Could you say the nuisance, let the open cache will be closed? Tell me.
No, sir.
Answer no. Because many people are working under the mine. They will lose their jobs. Of course, they will see that a minimized sound will be emanate from there. But sound, they cannot stop it unless they will constructed some walls or some other things like that. But it's very expensive. Only once the sound will come, but not continuously. తప్పకాలు కొట్టినట్టు వస్తుందా అండి సౌండ్ అది వరుసగా అరగంట సేపు?
No, sir.
Answer no.
Good sound.
Only once in a while will come because there's a big blast. Sometimes now your utensils will be vibrate if your house is very near to it. Am I right?
Yes,
Say
sir.
yes. Say yes. So,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
in the conclusion, the nuisance almost is an uncodified one. It has grown and expanded through the interpretation, through a plethora of the judgments. The concept of the nuisance is one that arises, but commonly in man's daily life, and the decision regarding the same has to be delivered on a case-to-case basis, and ensuring that neither the aggrieved plaintiff goes back uncompensated, nor the defendant is punished unnecessarily. Indian courts, in the matter of the nuisance, have borrowed the quite intensively from the English principle as well as from the decisions of the common law system, along with the creating their own precedents. This has resulted in a sound system of law being developed to ensure the fairness and well-being of the all, that is it as the parties and the society at large. So that is I have successfully completed the nuisance in 3 rounds: part 1, part 2, and part 3 end. And the tomorrow class is defamation. So let us see that how I can manage the defamation tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm thinking to travel to Hyderabad. Then if time permits, then I will take the class from there, provided if you have the Wi-Fi facility. If not, then I will inform you in advance. So this is the thing which I want to share
Okay,
with
sir.
you. And because of syllabus, if you happen to see the syllabus, yes, in the syllabus, we did not put it syllabus here. Okay, the time is up. Okay, now at any time it will be going to be closed because the time is going to be up now. And if you happen to see the syllabus, the next is the defamation. Next is the defamation. Even you cannot call a prostitute as a prostitute. Can you say so? Because everybody in the village knows that she is a prostitute. Can you call her as a prostitute? Tell me.
No,
No,
sir.
Why?
she is doing by knowing everybody. It knows everybody.
Everybody is having their own dignity. Even a beggar
Yes,
is
sir.
having his own dignity. Even a blind fellow is having his own dignity. Can you say, a blind man, where are you going? A blind man, have you taken the food? A blind man, have you taken the water? A blind man is having his own name. He's having his own,
Name.
you can call it that
Identity.
person name. Or you can say physically challenged person, visually challenged person. You should not say blind, deaf, dumb. If the vision is there, what do you say? Vision. Visually challenged person. Suppose lame is there, physically challenged person. Of course, it is the style of
Yes, sir.
making. ఇప్పుడు ప్యూన్ అంటారా అండి ఎవరన్నా? ప్యూన్ ఉన్నాడా అంటారా? ప్యూన్ అసలు ఆ
No, sir.
డిజిగ్నేషన్ లేదు. ప్యూన్ డిజిగ్నేషన్ ఈసే ఇన్ఛార్జ్, ఆఫీస్ ఇన్ఛార్జ్. ఆర్ యూ ఫాలోయింగ్ మీ?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
But
sir.
the nomenclature is changing now. In the college, in the school also. In the college, now we will say, if it is a university college or the degree college, we say assistant professor, associate professor, and professor. That is the designation here in India. But in other places, the designation tutorial assistant, assistant lecturer, lecturer, senior lecturer, associate professor, and professor of law. So now they are changing the designations because every designation should have its own dignity. You should maintain the dignity. So that is about the defamation. So in the defamation, even though your truth is saying, you are not supposed to say the truth. Because who asked you to say the truth there? And that to be in the public and standing in the four corners and keeping a long stool, and you are canvassing over there that so and so lady is a prostitute. Yeah, it is the Indian tradition that in the beginning or the ending of any program that we will make the play of the national anthem. Now the national anthem will be.
जनगणमन जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता
जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तां हमारा। जय हिंद।
जय हिंद।